So today, we are going to speak about, strategies to shortlist business schools. A lot of people who approach the Red Pen or speak with us at this point of the year, a few months ahead of business school applications or even a couple of years out. The big question is, how do I know which is the right school for me? And this is a topic which is, often discussed, debated upon. And I think my limited experience in this industry has just, taught me that if you get the school list right, then not only is your MBA application journey very smooth, but, your business school experience is just optimum and just amazing. Okay. So I'm going to try my best to decode some of the strategies that you can use to shortlist business schools. And I hope that, this webinar gives you some tangible, tools that you can implement in your MBA application journey. Okay. So I think we're going to get started. We have quite a few people online already. So we're going to get started. A bit of introduction about, Team MBA at the Red Pen. We, are a global team with international MBA admissions consulting experience. Our team has a combined experience of admissions consulting. We have admissions officers on the team. And we also have, MBAs, from all leading business schools around the world with strong business experience, something which is very important, when it comes to business school applications. So we have a mix of industry experience, academic experience, and, we, are proud of our team-based approach where, we bring, our collective knowledge and experience to any applicant's application journey. Okay. 94% of applicants received, offers to the top two choice. 100% applicants received interview from at least one program. This is typically for people who apply with us to a minimum of 4 to 5 schools. That number in scholarships need to be revised. It is close to $1.6 million now, and about 98% applicants, apply to global top 25 programs with us. Okay. These were the admits in 2021-22, and these were in 2022-23. Just to, spend a minute here. We do have, schools outside of this, but this is, where I think most people are interested in applying, which is why I think these logos made it over here. These are, some of the more prominent schools that applicants come to us for. It's pretty consistent. Results are pretty consistent year on year. And before we get into this, I think this is my favorite slide. I think this makes its way into every presentation that I make, because I always like to reiterate, the elements that admissions officers are looking for when it comes to, your business school application evaluation. At the bottom of the pile is your academic potential. You cannot get around this, no matter what how much you try to cover with your GMAT, GRE. A strong undergrad institution, subject selection, as well as strong undergraduate GPA will, along with your GMAT and GRE, and the breakup of that GMAT and GRE between quant and verbal will definitely be very instrumental in, helping the admissions officer assess what is your academic potential and whether you can handle the academic rigor of the program. Subjects like statistics or quant-based subjects will definitely get you little more brownie points. But if you are from a non-quant background, do not get disheartened. My limited advice over here is, if you're from a non-quant background, try to attempt the GMAT over the GRE. But there is no such rule. Schools do accept either the GMAT or the GRE. So, you can go for any test which you're most comfortable with. It's a standardized test. So take one which you're most comfortable with, take a few mocks and see which you're most comfortable with and take that one. Okay. Your work experience, minimum 3 years is what we advise international applicants. But schools do go to the school website and see if they have a minimum requirement, because I do know that, schools do take applicants with a 1 year post-undergrad experience, 2 years, and of course more than that as well. But minimum 1 or 2 years also is possible. Okay. Unless it's written on the school website, this is not an eligibility criteria, but for international applicants, we recommend that, because the undergrad, especially if Indian applicants are applying, the undergrad is not as strong as a 4-year undergrad in the US. Okay. Your brand industry function, or the brand matters, but not so much. Just the other day, I was having a conversation with someone, and my advice is, don't go over just the brand. Otherwise, you will be just one of the many applying from highly branded, institutions. And that's not going to differentiate you unless you are able to demonstrate what was the specific impact that you were able to create in your role in the organization. Demonstrated leadership. How have you created impact? Leadership, to me, is a mindset. So it is important to think about this aspect at least 2 years in advance. Ideally, you should plan your MBA journey 2 years in advance. So if you are someone, who is thinking 2 years out, you are at the right time. If you're this year, that's fine, not a problem. But leadership is a mindset, but it has to show in different facets of your life, in your immediate communities, in your career, your professional life, even sometimes even personally, right? I mean, so if there are specific examples where you've created impact, and for highly competitive programs, whether you've created impact at scale, what is the complexity of the challenges that you've handled will definitely make a difference, right? Are you able to assess complex situation? What's your decision-making criteria? All business school definitely give you all that criteria, but are you ready for this in terms of, your mind space? Extracurricular activities during and after college. Do not write about extracurricular activities prior to college, remember that. And your fit, which is your cultural fit with a particular program. We'll speak about fit, more in the coming slides, because this webinar is about shortlisting business schools. Okay. Now, all these 6 elements have to be sprinkled sort of over these elements which are, in this vertical box, to the left or right, depending on whichever side of the screen you are. Essays, letters of recommendations, resume, application form, and interview. So all these things are, make their way into one of these application components, which allows an admissions officer to evaluate your application holistically and take all these criteria into consideration. Okay. Now, this is some of the key milestones for round 1 2023 applications. Okay, you can take a screen grab of this this slide and just look at this later. We are not going to go too much into this, but where we are right now, I think we are towards in the month of May. So ideally, by this time, your business school research and shortlist should have been ready. However, if you're applying round 2, then you're still fine, right? This can still go on for another 2 months. Now, why MBA, right? This is very important when it comes to shortlisting business schools. My first question to anyone who approaches us or who's speaking with us is, why do you do an MBA? Why? What is the reason? So these are the 6 or 7 reasons rather, which are common reasons to pursue an MBA, either leadership or personal development, because an MBA program will give you, tools and experiences, immersive experiences, which make you self-aware and give you tools to, negotiate better, make better decisions, think through a problem better, influence better, understand, for example, the power dynamics, in any organizational structure, and, all those things that, you would do, if you're running your own business or you're in, working for someone else in a business setup. Career acceleration, right? Because all these tools, the further you go in your career, you are dealing with ambiguity, and these tools help you make those critical decisions, run large scale organizations, create impact at scale. Career transition, if you want to change your career. Now, if you want to change your career into law, of course, business school is not the right place. So it's not any career transition, it is career transition with definitely business as the lever. Okay, if you're a doctor and you're like, I want to understand the business side of healthcare because, I want to take more leadership responsibilities at a particular hospital, then, that may be something for you. Lawyers, sports people, even people who are within business right now, for them to kind of, let's say, pivot into from a technical role to a business role within the same organization. Access to, so try to understand which reason applies to you. Okay. Access to global and enhanced networks. This is true if you want to go to a global school, but if you don't want to go to a global school, that doesn't mean you still don't have access to enhanced networks. Okay. Networking is a huge part of a business school experience. And those networks serve you, well for years to come. Okay. Entrepreneurial aspirations, if you, it's a no-brainer. Entrepreneurs sometimes would, it's either you learn through experience, right? Or when you go to a business school, you get these tools, right? So if you want to be an entrepreneur, harbor entrepreneurial aspirations, a business school is a great place to go and, discuss your ideas, get feedback from professors, from your classmates, to test and try. Many business schools have incubators. So I think, they give a lot of tools, and, many investors come to business school campuses. So I think it's a great platform for entrepreneurs to kind of, spend a year and a half, 2 years sometimes. Global exposure and experience, if you're aiming to go to a school abroad, then definitely, you'll be sitting in a class with people from different countries, different backgrounds, varied experiences, and that definitely adds to the diversity of discussions. And because business school classroom discussions are, they're led by a professor, but it's not usually like this is how things are done. It's not like a law school or a very technical degree. It's very discussion based. Professors will they will give pointers to kind of start discussions, encourage people to participate. So having a diversity of thought in the classroom is very important, and that allows you to think better when and that benefits you usually personally also. It's a very often overlooked aspect of business school experience, but going to business school does help you personally also a lot. And of course, there are financial rewards, right? I mean, if you look at the ROI of MBA from a really competitive leading business school, then the ROI is huge. I mean, starting salaries can be anywhere from $100,000 to about going up to $250,000 or even more. I don't know. So that is definitely very lucrative, for anyone as a reason to pursue an MBA. These are the types of MBA programs, right? When you're typically in terms of bifurcation, and when you are selecting a program, it's good to know that there are these different formats for programs available. I'll just explain all of them. The very common or the popular one is the daytime or the 2-year MBA program. Okay, you spend 2 years on campus. It also has a semester of internship. So once you go, there are companies who come to campus, you interview for internships, and then you go for internship in the following year, right? Then you have a 1-year MBA. Most European programs are 1-year MBA programs, except for LBS, and Kellogg also offers, in the US, Kellogg offers a 1-year MBA program. Cornell used to offer a 1-year accelerated MBA program as well. You have part-time MBA programs. Part-time MBA programs are good if you're living closer to campus. If you're someone living in New York, you can pursue the part-time MBA program in NYU Stern. Or, if you are, let's say, in some of the neighboring states, if you're like someone who's like driving down to work or whatever, then you can. The beauty of a part-time program is you can do it at your time. The flip side, or the downside rather, of a part-time MBA program is you have to structure your own curriculum. It is not set for you, right? For a 1-year or a 2-year or an executive MBA program, the curriculum is set. There are X number of semesters and X number of credits to be taken per semester. And then at a definitive time, you basically graduate. In a part-time MBA program, it will depend. You have the flexibility, but the downside of that is, your class is not the same. Someone may take 2 classes in a week. Someone may take 5 classes in a week. You will not have that camaraderie of, being in one classroom and bonding with a certain set of classmates over a period of time. So executive MBA and global executive MBA program are for working professionals. It is important that you're employed when you apply to these programs. And even throughout the program, it is mandatory. You cannot get into a global or executive MBA program and quit your job. That's really not allowed. Stanford MSX and Sloan Fellows programs at LBS and MIT are essentially residential MBA programs for experienced professionals. So if you have a minimum of 10 years of work experience, we recommend that you attend these programs. There are online programs, multiple online MBA programs. There is also tech MBA programs, which are very, gaining popularity as of now. Of some of the leading business schools, NYU Stern, Cornell, and Kellogg offer tech MBA programs. Tech MBA programs are, sure, I think someone has raised a hand. So I think I will just take a question. Just give me a minute. Let me just finish the slide. Anyone, if you have questions, please post them in the Q&A box and I will take your questions. I'm not sure whether we have those controls to kind of allow people to speak. I'm not sure. I'm not controlling this. So just post your questions in the Q&A box and I will take all the questions, at the end. Tech MBA programs I just spoke about. Now, the thing about Tech MBA programs is, it is, as the name suggests, it is for people, who want to pursue a career in tech in some variation. But tech is now, disrupting almost every industry, as we say. So, it's many a times, it's not just a tech MBA. Someone who wants to pursue a career in tech can look at a tech MBA program, but they can also look at the typical 1 year or the 2 year MBA program, because they will definitely give you similar benefits, but the Tech MBA is focused on tech as an industry. So it's definitely a more richer and a more deeper experience concentrated within a particular industry. Okay. Deferred MBA is for applicants who are in their final year of graduation to apply to secure a spot at, one of the 10 to 12 business schools, which only offer the limited number of schools which offer that, to secure a spot where they can start their business school journey 2 to 5 years later. Okay, so you're securing your seat in advance. Your academic experience, academic potential, counts a lot. Your internships will count a lot. So, if you're a student watching this webinar and thinking of a deferred MBA, do think about your post-MBA goals and, take internships accordingly. Okay. All right. So these are the types of MBA programs which you should know when you are researching for schools, and because these will play an important role in deciding which kind of program you may want to go one over the other. Let me just look at some of these questions. Okay, so Divya Sharma has asked, how will a Tech MBA be different from a regular MBA curriculum wise? So the basic curriculum, is going to be the same, but the electives will be different. Okay. So you will definitely have the basic curriculum, which is your marketing and economics and leadership development, organization development and change. And those basic subjects are going to be the same, from a graduation perspective, but the electives will be different. So electives will, primarily focus, I'm guessing, mainly on the tech pieces. On case studies might also be, only on specific companies within the tech industry. So what I would recommend is these 3 programs, Cornell and YU Stern, and they have so Cornell and YU Stern programs are 1 year programs. They're in Manhattan. Okay, even Cornell, even though the school is in Ithaca, the Tech MBA program is in Manhattan. It's a 1 year program. There's no internship. For Kellogg, the program is called MBAI. It's a 15-month program. It's so 1 year is the curriculum and the semesters and everything. And you get 3 months of internship. Okay. Are there options for global MBA executive programs? Yes. Global MBA, you should look at Duke, Fuqua's global executive MBA program. You should look at INSEAD. You can look at London Business School. They run global MBA executive programs. Global programs basically mean that every quarter you meet in a different country, and then in between, I think, like Fuqua's, is definitely, I don't know if the others of the format has changed, but Fuqua's, I remember very clearly, every quarter you meet in a different country, and in between that, the classes are virtual. So that allows you to stay in your home country and still be a part of a big brand and, have access to the networks of Fuqua. And otherwise, for executive MBA also, you need to be in the country or in the city or closer to the city at least to be able to do an executive MBA program. I was, living in New York, so I was able to do Columbia's executive MBA program. Can you please guide a bit about Stanford MSX and the fellow programs at LBS and MIT? So those are residential programs, which basically means it's like a 1 year or 2 year MBA program, but for an experienced professional. Okay. So so if you are someone, who has 10 years of work experience and you're like, I want to go do my MBA because I'm looking to accelerate my career, to do a career transition, you might think, oh, if I go and do the typical 1 year MBA program, or if I do the 2 year MBA program, you might be sitting in a class with an average age of 4 to 5 years of experience. And maybe you don't get more out of that because these are people, perhaps who are focused on the next job after graduation. You are perhaps, because you're more mature in your experiences, you are looking for something else. You're looking for, you want to have this classroom discussions at a different level of maturity, different level of complexity. So to have access to that kind of a network, you can look at a program like LBS Sloan or MIT Sloan, or Sloan Fellows program at LBS MIT, or the Stanford MSX program. Okay. Rest of the information you can definitely find on the website. Can career transition happen across industry? Yes, career transition can happen across industry, across job profile, across geography. Okay, the three factors when you're looking at transition, the three things: your geography, your industry, and your job role. Typically, if you go to an MBA to change all the three, you are a triple jumper. A triple jumper, technically, from an admissions perspective, is a very risky proposition, because we have to make sure that this is someone who is able to succeed. Okay, at the end of your 1 year or 2 year, is this someone who can secure the role that they want? Okay, let's take the example that you have, Kavya. For example, if I'm currently working in pharma consulting industry for 3.5 years, I want to transition to luxury brand management, which recruiters we struck at previous work experience or open to a new domain. So what you have to understand, Kavya, is that you have to bring something to the party, okay, which is technically called as transferable skills. And this is what the career management center at a business school will typically help you. Once you're in business school, that's how they help you transition a career. So if you're in the pharma industry and you want to go into luxury brand management, what you could do is, now you're not given, but let's say, assume, okay, you're a product manager in a pharma industry. You can say, I want to be a product manager in a luxury, high-end luxury, a company which sells high-end luxury goods, okay? Or, a consulting firm which is consulting brands on luxury brand management. So try to at least keep the role constant. And if you're able to keep the geography constant and just changing one factor, that it's not easy, but it is easier comparatively. Okay, so I would recommend that you think about what are the transferable skills. Now, if you are like, I'm a product manager in a pharma company in India, and I want to work as as a marketing specialist in a luxury brand management in US, you're changing all of that. Okay, I would never say it's impossible. I don't think there's no impossible word in my dictionary, but it's definitely difficult, and you will have to jump through certain hoops to make that a reality. And you have to be sure that you want to do this post MBA. Okay, that's another thing. That's for another webinar to kind of. But your post MBA goals should definitely be a very important criteria when it comes to shortlisting business schools. Okay, because that business school has to set you up for success. Okay. Now, will a software developer working in a banking domain be difficult profile if considering to switch to finance with no experience in the domain? It's an interesting question. So like I said, guys, you have to bring out something that's transferable. Do you know the insider language? If you're a software, going to MBA is not going to overnight make you into a finance expert. You will have some courses in finance. But again, when it comes to the job market, you will be competing with other people who have a deeper finance or specific domain knowledge. So MBA, many people think that, I will do an MBA and that's going to be the end of, all my problems. That's not how it is. It's the beginning of your journey to make your post-MBA goals a reality. Okay. So you have to still follow through. If you are switching to, from complete, hardcore tech profile to like a finance or a marketing profile, you still have to do a lot more to kind of be able to make that switch. Okay. And I can actually have a very separate session altogether on this, because I'm a career coach and I have worked with people on their career transitions, and it needs a lot of reflection and a lot of work in terms of doing your homework. Which are the industries, which are the companies in this industry? Who are the people I should be talking with? Who is the kind of profile I see myself, working in? And who is the person, who are doing those kind of roles? I need to talk to them. I need to do informational interviews with them. And informational interviews is something which should actually be a huge part even of your business school research. Okay. Some of the good executive MBA programs for healthcare, I would look at Wharton. Wharton is anyway very good for healthcare. I would look at Yale. I would also look at Columbia Business School. Okay. These are, they have executive MBA programs and they have very strong healthcare industry associations. So you can look at that. Are scholarships available for executive or one-year MBA program for a working professional? Executive MBA, it is scholarships may be available if your post MBA goals are, or if you're transitioning into an industry like, let's say, not-for-profits. If you're like, I'm going into an MBA is a very expensive degree. I'm going into not-for-profit, and you have to back it up, right? I mean, there has to be a job offer or something. And if you're coming from those industries, schools do consider that, in terms of financial aid. Okay. Okay, lots of questions coming in. I do have a lot of ground to cover. So let's, I think, go to the next slide, and I will come back to these questions. I will make sure, I answer all the questions. So guys, so don't worry about this, okay? Now shortlisting dream, target, and safety schools. This is, I think, something we repeat every year. In fact, not recently, just literally this Monday, I did a webinar with GMAT Club where, we had some of our successful Red Pen applicants, sharing their application journey. And one of them did speak that, have a list of dream, target, and safety schools. If you are someone who's very clear that I don't want to do safety schools, I only want to do dream schools, this is my list, go for it. But own it, okay? Don't get into this confused zone that, oh, I wanted to go to Columbia, Booth, or Wharton, but now it's not happening. But I'm not sure whether I want to explore, schools, below the M7s, and I want to look at this school or not look at this school. Don't do that. Try to answer the question, do I want to do an MBA? Do I see the value in doing an MBA? If I want to do an MBA, then which are the schools which meet my post-MBA goals? Which are the schools which meet my personal goals? For example, if you're a big city person, you may look at schools which are in, larger cities, or, if you're like, I need a suburban college town experience, you can look at, or more deeper connections within the community. You can look at schools which are, not in larger cities, right? So the self-reflection is very important. And my favorite tool for self-reflection is very simple. It's literally, you cannot see probably, it's a writing pad and a pen, okay? You just keep a pen and paper handy and jot down your thoughts. What is it? What are the criteria in a business school that you are looking for? Prestige, brand, we'll come to that list also later. But understanding yourself will help you build a better narrative even in a business school application. So what makes you who you are? How are you truly unique? At the Red Pen, we have a questionnaire. It's a 20-page questionnaire that you have to fill out. It takes about a week if you do it like with dedication, but it significantly improves your the way you answer business school questions, whether it's essays, whether it is your letters of recommendations, whether it is your interviews. You'll answer those questions significantly better because you've gone through that awareness. Okay, your childhood, school, college, and career experiences, and how they make you who you are, and how does that connect with your post MBA journey, and where does the school really come in? Because the school wants to set you up for success. They need to make sure that, is this person really sure of what they want, and can we help this person succeed? They are not rejecting you because you are a bad applicant. They are rejecting you because they have probably selected someone else who's a better fit. Okay, so here you demonstrating that fit to someone else, but before you do that to someone else, you have to demonstrate that fit to yourself. And so knowing yourself, what is your leadership brand? Are you an aggressive leader? Are you a thoughtful leader? Are you a quiet leader? I don't know if any one of you who's read the book Quiet, which speaks about, how people who are introverts can actually be very, very strong leaders, right? What problems are you trying to solve in society using business? Do not go to business school and write business school applications that I'm a private equity analyst. I worked on X number of deals, and every deal I have made 4X returns. That's not differentiating you at all. Are you trying, as an investor, are you trying to solve a problem using business in society? Look at that. How do you make decisions, negotiate, resolve conflicts, or approach problem solving, right? What is your thought process? So, there would be an essay. I think the essay which comes to my mind is Fuqua's top 25 things. I mean, so I'm a part of AGAC, which is an association of international graduate admissions consultants. And last year, every year AGAC has a conference, which brings admissions consultants and admissions officers together. And last year we had this amazing workshop where, Fuqua's admissions team, had us do the 25 random things, essay. So Fuqua asks you, I don't remember the exact, essay, but it's about, tell us 25 random things about you. And it's very interesting that, when you write 25 things about you, a certain pattern emerges to who you are. And it's about, are you taking yourself too seriously? Are you like trying to impress? Are you trying to be a Machiavellian? Some pattern or trends trying to emerge. So before you put all those things in the school application, you doing that and trying to understand yourself better will give you a stronger understanding of then what is it that you're looking for in the school. This is like, looking for a partner. It's like, if you don't know yourself, you're like, I need someone, who has a great sense of humor. And then, but I don't appreciate humor. Then why would you need someone who has a great sense of humor? Sorry, I don't know if that was a bad example, but I think this is, it's pretty much like that, right? When you write a list, that this is a list of things that I'm looking for. But before that, knowing yourself is very important. And this questionnaire that we have is guys, it's very good. I take immense pride because we worked a lot on this questionnaire. I took a lot of my coaching experiences to build this questionnaire. We also went and looked at, what business schools were offering, tools, schools like Haas, Stanford, Yale. Guys, these schools offer, a lot of tools and tips that you can actually use in your business school applications. Okay, they Stanford ran an entire series of, how to work on your resume, how to work on the essays. Yale has, an interesting, if you're signed up to the Yale website, you get these inbox application insights where they speak very authentically about, building things in your resume. They speak about concerns that students had and what admissions officers are really looking for. So sign up on these school websites, which are even remotely. So if you make, let's say you make a list of 20 schools, right? And you're like, now I have to kind of eliminate some of these schools. If you sign up on the website of these schools and then, you're following their blogs and everything, you start to get an understanding of, what these schools are and stuff, right? And some of these, like I said, they will give you very helpful tips and tools which you can actually use in your applications. You don't even need to go to a consultant if you follow that advice really well. School research criteria. Okay, so first step is knowing yourself. Second is a school research criteria. This is a comprehensive list which I made of factors. I think we already, we have some time. So I'll go through this, but not through very detail. Culture and values I already spoke about. Now, going through every factor, I'll also be upfront that, I can go through each and every bullet point which is written over here. But what is important is customizing this list to your application. Okay. When I say culture or values, look at the culture of the school. But culture is easier said than done. Sometimes understanding a school culture remotely can be very challenging. And sometimes, you go to campus, you meet people, you meet adcoms, and you're like, I get it. I get the school, right? And every time going in person may not be possible. And every time you go in person, you may not still get the school. So my formula, for decoding culture or values is to basically talk to as many people as possible. I would document that. I would make an Excel spreadsheet. I would have a tab for each of the schools. I would make a list of all current students, alumni, admissions officers, any prominent, alums from a particular school. And I would have a list of questions, which I will come to in one of the later slides. And I would talk to them. I would do these informational interviews and get this information. You will be surprised. Every school, every business school alum will tell you that the school was very supportive. The network was amazing, and everyone supported each other. It was very collaborative. When people write these things in their business school application, why Kellogg? Why Columbia? Because Columbia has a very collaborative culture. But collaborative culture exists at Harvard and Stanford and Fuqua and Ross and Darden, right? So what makes Columbia apart from what part of Columbia's culture makes it apart? For example, New York is a very integral part of Columbia's business school experience because there are so many things to be done in the city. So the flavor of New York blends into the whole business school experience. If you understand big city life, if you are like someone who enjoys that, then you will probably have more affinity towards, a Columbia or a Stern over, a school which is not in the city. Location, similarly, location will matter. US or Europe, Singapore or, Germany or, where do you want to live? It's going to be 2 years of your life. So where are you most excited to live and explore? Where is your post MBA industry, right? Where is that concentration where you want to kind of build a global network for years to come, right? Cost will definitely make, one of the factors. Duration or the length of the program, we already spoken about 1 year, 2 years. So look at that, how much time you want away from work. Some entrepreneurs tell us that I'm not interested in internship. So Columbia has a J-term program. Go for it. No internship. 1 year programs. Go for it. All right. Curriculum will make a difference, right? Some schools like Booth, it's a flexible curriculum. Only one course lead is mandatory. All courses you have to design your own curriculum. Okay. On the other hand, most schools have they have core courses and then they have electives. Okay, electives, there are very few schools who will offer like tracks. Like Kellogg will have a technology management pathway, and then they get the electives within that pathway, a healthcare management pathway. There are courses within that pathway, so you're able to specialize, like go take electives in that particular pathway, which can be very attractive. Or there could be others like Columbia where there are like 200 electives and you can just pick and choose, and you can do marketing and finance and this and that, and you can just you don't need to kind of pick one path over the other, for example. International exposure, of course, that makes a difference whether you want to go to a domestic school or outside. The format, some have a own Harvard Business School only has a case study method style. Others have a combination of lecture and case methods. Faculty and research, if there are particular areas of interest, then and a school's particular faculty is involved in a particular line of research and you want to go kind of work with that faculty, then going to one school over the other will definitely matter. This needs a lot of time. So I think I would definitely recommend that keep a pen and paper, your Excel sheet, your Evernote or Word document, whatever it is, but do document these things. Make a list of these factors and then do a comparative analysis, because that's what business school is going to teach you. You're going to become these you're going to use Excel pretty pretty often to during your case studies. Class size, smaller class size versus larger. MIT, Stanford, smaller class sizes. HBS, Columbia, Wharton, larger class sizes. That will make it's interesting that the class size will also inform the strength of the alumni network. So if you are someone who's going to that level of detail, then consider that as well. Class diversity, I think most leading programs definitely they take care of putting a very diverse class together. So this is not something that for an applicant to kind of overthink. And alumni networks and benefits. This is very important because it's a very expensive degree. It's an expensive investment of your time, of money, of the opportunity cost of employment that's not taken up. So you should look at after you graduate from school, then what are the alumni initiatives that the school has taken? How can you continue to be engaged with the school, right? If this is something I think you should going and you should definitely look at that. Okay. Business school research and selection. Now, the earlier list, I think I just, I have broken this down into, you can take a screen grab of this because this was the list, which is the research criteria. And here For each of the criteria, I have given the factors to consider. And I think I spoke about that in the earlier slide, but so I'm not going to repeat all of this over here. But like I mentioned, and I'm repeating this, but please document your research. You will thank me later, but that documentation plays a huge role in how you think. Your thinking becomes a lot more structured. And when you're writing multiple applications, which can get very arduous, it's a very emotionally, draining process. This will help you. It'll help you keep your thoughts clear, because what you think, what you actually know, and what actually translates on a paper can be completely different. And what someone sitting, 20,000 or 10,000 miles away, can have a lot of gaps. So document your research. Okay. Some of the research methods: review school websites and social media channels. Going to a school website is basic. It's basic. It's a given. I mean, I don't even need to include this on this webinar. Going to school's YouTube channels. If you're on the train, plane, walk, whatever, just listen to a video. It will give you an understanding. And listen in about an area of your interest. If you're like, I'm interested in marketing, I really want to understand, what is a certain school's professor, talking about marketing. Some of their videos, some of their masterclasses are, on the YouTube channel. So listen to that and see, what you pick up from that. If you're able to document that. We had someone who listened to podcasts of these professors, for value investing at Columbia Business School. And he had done that for 2 years. And we wrote all of that in his essay, and he did make it. And he was writing about a very bold career transition in an industry where he had no prior experience. But that demonstrated interest, and where he could strongly connect that, I love this, I have listened to all of this, and and I have implemented all of this. And this is why I think it makes sense for me to come to your school and not this school. That makes a huge difference, right? Speaking with current students, alumni, admissions officers, and faculty, it's, you have to do that. Make a list. Okay, go to school websites and make a list. Go to LinkedIn. Today, we are living in an age where, access to information is not that hard. Okay. So also I would say make a list of at least 25 people per school with a combination of these. Okay. If more, you can go right up to about 40 as well. The more information you have, the stronger your application, the stronger your interest comes across, even when you make it to the business school interview stage. And so that definitely makes your journey a lot easier. Visiting schools to get a first-hand experience on the vibe on campus. If you're able to do that, it's fine. If not, it's not going to be held against you. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Sign up on school websites. Sign up for Google alerts for schools. So if there is something about the school that comes in the media, you get to know about it. If there's a change in dean, there could be a change in the outlook of a school with, focus on, let's say, entrepreneurship, focus on strategy, focus on a particular industry. So do that, right? I mean, certain schools have been recently very vocal about, supporting MBA applicants who want to focus on careers and sustainability. Okay, they are giving, FUCO, for example, has this Impact Scholars program. They're giving scholarships in double digits, okay, which is huge. So more than, definitely about 80-90 people, I don't know, could end up having. It's not like just 5-10 people are eligible for that scholarship. They are giving in double digits. So definitely you may be eligible for that if you're pursuing a career in sustainability. Okay. When you are adopting any of these research methods, you have to understand that your professional experience is at the center of the MBA application. Okay. So what you have done professionally and what you plan to do professionally has a very important impact. When you are talking to admissions officers as a part of your research method, guys, please prepare. Don't just go and just unprepared and have a chat. Okay. When you are talking to these people, consider every experience as a part of that interaction that you're going to have, which will add up to, your business school final admission. Okay. So present yourself well, present yourself professionally, gather your thoughts, speak succinctly, briefly, prepare yourself. No matter who you speak to, you don't know who might, just give feedback to the school that I spoke with this person and this person is going to be an amazing addition to the school. I don't know. I'm just saying. These are some of the representative lists of questions to ask current students and alums. Why did you choose the school? What surprised you about the school? What was your experience when you're talking to an alum? What clubs did you participate? Clubs, a very interesting thing about clubs. Many clubs also invite or are open to inviting prospective applicants to club events. Okay. And some of them, if they are hosted online or, hosted, let's say, a Wharton club in Mumbai perhaps is doing something, and if they're like, open to try to find that out. If you know any Wharton alums, try to find that out, that, hey, in this city, are you doing an event and are you open to having, prospective applicants, join this to kind of just get a feel for the school. Make that effort. Those efforts, when you put in your application, they make a difference and it gives you clarity. Okay. It's not you using these strategies and these research methods and these criteria is important for you to first understand, is this a good school for me? And only then you convince the school that, I am a great fit for you. Okay. So first you have to be convinced yourself. So you can take a screen grab of these list of questions. These are just representative questions. Please add your own questions. Okay. These are some of the general guidelines. Choose fit over rankings. Okay. If you want to get a general understanding of, I think, rankings and everything, I think US News and Financial Times rankings are most popular. You can look at that. Poets and Quants also has, a lot of information about rankings in schools and everything. You can look about that. Document your research. Do not rely on memory. Okay. Do not go completely on gut and intuition all the time. Document it. And then eventually, after you have all the documentation, everything, then you can have a, what feels right, that, an intuitive call. Keep your LinkedIn profile current and updated at all times. At the Red Pen, I think we, I don't know if you're the only ones, but we definitely help people with their LinkedIn profile along with resume. Because while it is not officially or technically a part of your business school application, it's not a component. We are not delusional that if school is going to admit you, they're not going to go online and see you. So we would be prepared. We would keep LinkedIn profile current, updated at all times, join. And that's a different webinar altogether. There's a webinar on our YouTube channel on, how to build your LinkedIn profile, how to keep it current at all times. And, follow industry. Don't write in your application that I want to move to private equity and you're following all VCs and hedge funds on your LinkedIn profile. Okay. So understand, who you're following, which are the groups that you're a part of, participate in those discussions, have a professional presence online, know what business schools are looking for and practice your pitch accordingly. Okay. Get to know what admissions officers at each of the schools on your list, know them by names, right? Know them by names, by their designations, what they do. It's always nice. And it always shows that, you have done your research. Okay. Put together a long list of 10 schools and a short list of 5 schools to apply in each round. Like I mentioned, it's always good to have a list of dream, target, and safety schools. Usually my advice is to apply to a mix of dream, target, and safety in each of the rounds. Applying to only dream schools in round 1 and to target and safety in round 2, if you fail in dream schools in round 1, is not a great strategy, according to me, because you need to have, it somehow hits your confidence. And I've seen it with the best applicants who have all the statistics in place. They have all the brands, they have the scores. But when you don't make it, it somehow undermines your confidence. So always recommend have an admit in hand. Okay. So make that combination. And you plan to apply to 5 schools in each round. As far as scores, standardized test scores are concerned, ideally you should have be done with your GMAT or GRE a year before. If not, try to get it out of the way as soon as possible. Do not try to keep it till the last minute. It gets very stressful. Be authentic and follow your voice. It does reflect in your applications, but it only reflects in your application when you have done the work. And any successful applicant who's sitting right now in business school will tell you that they did put in the work. Unless you are one of those 2% of that applicant pool who can write your application on the back of a paper napkin and submit. If you have that kind of profile, great. If not, for the 98% of the applicant pool, you have to put in the work and you have to approach it like a study, a course, an exam in itself. So these are some of my general guidelines. This is now an open forum Q&A. There are already 6 questions. So I'm going to take this. How much time do we have? Oh, we have only 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to try my best. For 17 years of work experience, wanting a full-time program, do you recommend only Stanford and Sloan, or are there other options I could look for? Will the regular MBA not give the admission and desired output for leadership? So the regular MBA, RV, the problem for regular MBA is that you will be sitting in a class of people who have an average of 4 to 5 years of work experience. So you can definitely apply, but it's like a bell curve. 80% of the population is, in that middle of that bell curve, with that 4 to 5 years of work experience. There'll be some outliers on either side of the curve, but you might get frustrated that, you're looking for scholarships as well. I would encourage you to look at executive MBA programs. Like London Business School has an executive MBA program. They have a campus in Dubai. They have the global executive MBA program in INSEAD as well. I would look at Fuqua's global executive MBA program. I would also look at those Sloan Fellows program at MIT and LBS, and as well as Stanford. So for someone with 17 years of work experience, that would be my recommendation. But I'm happy to talk offline. If you just post an inquiry on our website and choose MBA in the drop-down option, someone from our team will definitely get in touch with you, and we're more than happy to kind of speak with you. I just also wanted to say, for those attending, our initial calls are free, and our initial calls do offer a lot of consultation. So do reach out to us, if you have anything specific, to your case, which I may not be able to answer like in a general forum like this. Also, is Canada Masters or MBA with specialization on par again for 17 years of work experience in smaller countries in Europe in top 50 ranks with much lesser fee and GMAT waiver still the best career jump? Also H1B visa. Yeah, H1B visas are a tough draw. It's getting tougher every year, guys. They say, the visa situation is getting tougher. You should concentrate, I think, geography, yes, but I would first look at what is it that I want to do. Location sometimes can have as much, but you should consider a master's, and we do have a postgraduate team as well, and you should contact us. We do also hold sessions on a MBA versus master's. If you need a specific consultation on your profile, should I go for an MBA or should I go for a master's, we do those consultations, okay, which is tailored to your profile. So do contact us for that. Now, coming to your question about master's or MBA, it depends on, what is your field of interest. If you want to kind of specialize in, for example, finance in a particular domain, you want to be like, I know this much about finance, and, I am already at this level in my organization. Now I want to kind of, take this to the next level. Then doing a master's makes sense. It should add to your experience and your knowledge. Right? I mean, you are investing in that to take you to the next level and not to impress someone or, just put someone in a resume. No matter whether you do a master's or an MBA, eventually you have to make your career happen. Okay. Whatever are your post-MBA goals, you have to go in knowing going to a Wharton or a Harvard doesn't solve your life's problems. For many people, the problems start from there because you're sitting in a class with highly competitive people and recruiters are spoiled for choice. And who should I recruit? And you are setting yourself up for even bigger competition. Okay. So always approach, whether you're doing an MBA, whether you're doing a master's, and whether you're looking at these school research criteria, be very clear on your goals. What is it that you want? Which is why I keep saying that, you should start 2 years in advance. We also help applicants, who come 1 or 2 years in advance, by the way, so something I just wanted to share. I'm a CA plus CFA working professionals. What are the prospects of getting into MIT, Sloan, HBS, and what? This is very limited information, Nina, for me to just say that, what are the prospects. I would like to see your resume. The first thing I would pick up is a resume. The first document that an AdCom will pick up in your application is your resume. Okay. So if you don't mind, Nina, you can inquire on our website, and, you can specifically request for me to look at your resume, or the people who will speak with you are also consultants themselves, so they can also speak, but you can speak with me. I'm happy to kind of just look at your resume and just help you understand, what more information do I need to evaluate your chances of MIT, HBS, and what. Okay. What are the top websites for research? School websites for one. Second, I would look at Poets and Quants. I would also look at GMAT Club. These three are my go-to. Within these three, you should get a lot of information. The fourth one is LinkedIn, but only when you want to identify the list of people, the current students, alums, faculty, all those people. Then you go to LinkedIn to kind of make that list of people to reach out to, and then you reach out to them on LinkedIn. Okay. So top websites for research, I would go to the school websites. I would look at GMAT Club. I would look at Poets and Quants. Which is the best time to start building our resume and shortlisting school for fall 2024 intake? Okay, when you say fall 2024 intake, it means fall 2023 applications. So best time to start building your resume and shortlist was yesterday. Okay, and the next best time is now. So you should start ASAP, basically. If you're looking at fall 2024 applications, you should still start now, because then you can do it with peace of mind. You are not stressed that I need to apply in like 3 months, and because honestly, competition is only getting tougher and tougher with each round, with each year, with each business school. Someone just posted that the visa situation is hard, so it's only getting more and more tough. Okay, guys. So the best time is to start is ASAP. Okay. How can I make my profile strong after having a work experience of less than 2 years in the tech industry and looking for a career switch to management roles? That's going to be hard. Okay, that's going to be hard. Why? Because if you want to make a switch to management roles with 2 years of experience, you should demonstrate why. Why do you just want to manage, and why would you not want more experience? Unless you mean business role and not a management role. So I think, I would need more detail to kind of understand more about this question. How to make sure you get a reply from schools alumni when you reach out to them. Divya, craft a very, strong outreach email. We usually help our applicants do that. Like they craft the email and then we review it, edit it. And then we send them. But a good way, to actually write to me, Divya, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to share. I still have my outreach email, which I used to use when I was in business school and I was looking for a career transition. And I was doing information interviews because I wanted to switch my career. I still have the template of that outreach email. So just drop me a note on my LinkedIn. I will share that outreach email template with you. Okay. But go in factoring that, you may not get, a response from everyone. Okay. So which is why I always say make a really big list so that you get substantial responses even from those that, who do respond. Also, be respectful of people's time. So write them that, write to them saying that, I would like 20 minutes of your time to answer these 3 questions. This is my resume. I would really appreciate. So make it meaningful, make it, more substantial rather than, just that, hey, can I speak with you? Okay. How are UK colleges between 100 to 200 ranked globally on QS for MBA? Example, Aston, Leeds. Great. Why not? I mean, it depends, so like I've said in one of the earlier slides, 98% of people who apply with us are applying to the top 25 to 30 programs between US and Europe. That's where our major concentration is. These programs are also good, and we've helped people in programs outside these top 30 rankings as well. But there we customize, again, we have to make sure that that program fits your personal and professional goal. So there is work which goes in when you are working with us. The consultants do have to ensure that, and they do ensure that that program meets your personal and professional goals. So I wouldn't go just on ranking. It's a very expensive investment. I would just not look at, QS rankings just because it made to QS rankings. I would dig deeper and try to find more about the college, about the business school, sorry. An ambitious CA with multiple attempts to clear along with 1.5 years of experience and average academics will be able to get into any of these B schools, either global or domestic. Yes, 1.5 years of experience is on the lower side. Okay, so if you're talking about multiple attempts, average academics, I would strengthen the profile with a strong work experience. Okay, a strong work experience, I feel, is your strongest leverage in a business school application. a strong resume is something no business school can just overlook, right? So I would look at, if you are an associate, perform at a senior associate level. If you're a senior associate, perform at the manager or AVP level. Once you are able to perform at that level and that translates to your resume, that's going to get you noticed. Past performance is used as an indicator for future success. So if you have all these other average, below average, below average kind of things on your profile, I would make that up with your work experience, which is also something in your hands. So I would time the application of MBA also based on that. Okay. All right. Is there an MBA in product management? Which universities offer MBA in product management? You should look at tech MBA programs. You should look at tech MBA programs at Cornell, NYU Stern, and possibly Kellogg as well. Just research those programs. But all programs, MBA programs, even the 2-year ones, they will not give you an MBA. The degree will not say MBA in product management, but there are many people who want to become product managers. Let's say who are in technical roles, but want to go into product management roles. They go for a traditional MBA as well. So those programs are also good for that. In fact, Kellogg is great. They have the technology management pathway. Columbia is very good. Wharton is very good. With 1 year of work experience, but in a self-owned family business, which is completely managed by myself, play in my favor or not. We work with a lot of people from family businesses, and if you're open to kind of applying to which schools, if you come with list of schools, I mean, we'll have to evaluate that. I agree that there's a big difference when working in an MNC and a small portion of a big business procedure, but we work with a lot of entrepreneurs and people from family businesses. In fact, I love working with entrepreneurs and people from business families. My own affinity towards business, I think, allows me to, understand their story, with a more empathetic lens. And I think business schools also, look for people like yourself. So we can help customize the school list based on, how, based on what your profile is. But 1 year of work experience is a little hard. I would have to look at, what is the scale and complexity of the business that you're managing to understand if 1 year of experience is enough or we need more. Okay. I am a civil engineer with 2 years of purely technical experience. How difficult would it be to transition into management? You should consider an MBA. An MBA would enable you to do just that. But have strong technical experience, which you are able to bring to business school classroom discussions. Okay. I have always wanted to settle in Australia, but not sure if Australian B schools are at par with other global B schools in terms of ROI. I was inclined to Melbourne, but I couldn't find many Indians along with LinkedIn, so I got confused if Australia is a good choice to study MBA. Australia is a very good choice to study MBA. Yes. It is, use the same criteria for researching schools that I listed in this webinar. The criteria remain the same. You may not find Indian alums, but you will still find alums. The proportion may be smaller because, majority of Indians tend to go to maybe, in comparison, I think maybe consider more European or US business schools. But if you always wanted to live in Australia, then considering an Australian business school is great. The other option is always, also to go to a business school in US or Europe, but work for a company where, they might give you a posting in Australia, where they might give you a position in Australia, something like that. With your experience, how relevant do you think is the MBA degree going to be 3 years down the line in a world dominated by AI and tech? Great, Anupama. That's a great question. And I always question this, right? So, which is why MBA admissions, I love MBA admissions consulting, but I always say that, it's probably not my calling because I, usually feel that, in a world dominated by AI, what if, see, I'll tell you something about the MBA degree, right? The MBA is, it's an investment. Okay. It's an investment that requires time, patience, and commitment. Okay. It needs the drive. My observation is people don't have that kind of patience as, people looking for instant gratifications. There are platforms which are, now coming up, which are competing with business schools, which are giving similar kind of leadership development, coaching experiences, and, all those things. So, and upskilling platforms, right? which are like, okay, just do this much. You don't have to put so much of money and investment and time and you'll get this quick. That, could be a distractor for someone who really truly does not understand. But having done an MBA, I know that the degree itself is very strong. The degree is strong, the industry is strong. I don't think 3 years is a very short timeline. Maybe in 10 years or maybe 20, 25 years, we will start to see like some changes. But business schools are also adapting. They are not static beings, because they have all these faculty who are at the top of research, top of industry. They have all alumni, who are running leading organizations and are giving back to the school. Business schools are also evolving. So I don't think MBA as a degree is going to go anywhere, or business schools are going to go anywhere. Going to a Harvard or Stanford 3 years down the line is going to be as, aspirational as much as it is now. Currently a fresher in tech planning for MBA with 2-year experience, then join or take over my dad's business. How should I approach? Write to us. I would like to have more information. So write to us on our website. I think we can get back to you. Can you please suggest some colleges that are stronger for HR? I don't know specifically international colleges which are HR, but HR, if when you say, I think of more of organization development and leadership development. So that is given by every school. And there will be courses, there will be case studies and across multiple courses that will have that people and psychology angle in that, which you can obviously use for HR. If you're looking for HR specific MBA, I would look at masters in organizational development and psychology. I would look at that. Considering career switch, this is the last question, and any questions after this, please write to us. Let me just share this is, the website link. Where is the website? Yeah, just follow us on our YouTube channel and LinkedIn, and just write to us. But this is my last question. Considering career switch, would you say fields like masters in entrepreneurship good in today's world with so many changes, and which university do you recommend these days, or an MBA but in these specializations like entrepreneurship, sustainability and sustainability, etc., also give the same output, and which options would you recommend? Harvi, I think it depends, right? It depends on your post MBA goals. If you're like, I want to work in the US, then going to an MBA might be great. Have that internship, gives you more network to build a global network. Masters might be good if you are looking only for very specific, very niche, and you're like, I don't want to get distracted with an MBA. You'll have multiple clubs that you can join, multiple industry associations that you can join, multiple events which are happening on campus, multiple recruiters who are recruiting across industries. You can go and sit and listen to their presentations. Masters can be restrictive in that particular industry, or role, depending on the kind of masters that you're talking about. But talk to us, I would say, RV, that this would be a very specific answer to your case. So I would like to know more about you. How can one strengthen their profile in terms of extracurriculars for fall 25 intake? For fall 25 intake, good question. You're right on time, Melna. What I would recommend is identify 1 or 2 strong interests and understand why does that interest you, and then pursue extracurriculars accordingly. Don't do everything. Do what holds the most meaning for you, and then find 1 or 2 initiatives, and then focus on creating an impact, in that. That's what I would look at. But extracurriculars is something, I would, it's good to plan ahead and look at extracurriculars only college and later. Do you help with candidates like someone I know for undergrad and low budget as a criteria of college and diploma? Yes, we help with help applicants from pre-college advising right until PhD. Okay, so we our website is www.theredpen.in, and the MBA website is www.theredpenmba.com. Okay, so reach out to us, on our websites, depending on whether you want to do MBA or any other help, across. And we will be happy to help you. I think I really enjoyed this session. Thank you everyone for making the time. And, please reach out to us for any questions that you have. School research is not easy. It has to be customized. You have to do it right. If there's any way we can, help you to make this journey smoother, I would love to hear from you. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening, day, whatever.